From inside my house, I can't tell how hot it is out here, but believe me, when I'm sitting out here, I can definitely tell. What I read about heat index described it as a combination between air temperature and humidity that measures what the body actually feels. And those measurements are taken in the shade. So if you're out in the sun, it's like 15 degrees hotter. So right here is like 91 degrees with a heat index of 108. Now common sense says we should avoid exposure to that kind of heat. Stay hydrated, and gosh, if you have to be outside, stay in the shade. Such an in-your-face reminder of the power and impact our environment has on us. Now, we can choose to say, oh, that's not going to impact me. It doesn't really have any effect. But in this environment, you do that long enough and you could end up with a heat stroke. That made me think about several conversations I've had this week about work environments. One woman told me that in her company right now, the communication problems are worse than any place she's ever worked. Another guy said that he was thrown into a management position, not given any training, and then reprimanded that he couldn't handle it well. And another guy told me that because of his CEO's refusal to deal with an underperforming employee, she is now causing issues on his team. Now, what was interesting to me was that none of these issues really had anything to do with their technical side of their job or task completion. They were all environmental issues, things that you couldn't really see, but you could definitely feel. It also made me realize that none of those individuals are operating in a work setting that has a clearly defined culture, where there are agreed upon language, behaviors, beliefs that are expected and then celebrated. How excited would you be to go to work every day if you knew you could do the job, but there were other things that were like dragging you down? So you've got capability for the task, but the environment isn't working. It's a little like being asked to work in the sun with a heat index. Do it long enough, and that environment will take you out. So here's a couple of questions to measure the heat index of your work environment. When was the last time your company culture was promoted and celebrated? And how are you positively impacting your work environment? Those things that you can't necessarily see, but you can definitely feel. Because like my river birch that is dropping its leaves because of this heat index, there is evidence if the heat index in your work environment is on the rise. Believe me, environmental changes always produce results, one way or another. That's my perspective this Friday. I'm Amy Barg, living large.